Well, thanks everyone for joining. I am Ed, N7PHY, out here in Edmonds, Washington, and I am currently the maintainer of the FFMA Leader Board, the actual spreadsheet that we look at every week to see who's where in their grid chase and which grids are most rare and all that type of thing. That's my baby now. So I do appreciate you being here. And again, if you have any questions, please jump in. This won't take very long. We're just going to talk a little bit about, very briefly about what the award is, what this leaderboard is, and then we'll walk through the leaderboard and how to join, what the personal tracking sheets look like, and then get to questions. So I'm estimating probably 30 minutes or so. Oh, stand by. Here we go. Just briefly, what is the Fred Fish Memorial Award? For all the future generations watching this on YouTube someday wondering what the heck is this thing? As you guys know, the FFMA or Fred Fish Memorial Award is named for W5FF, Fred Fish, the first person, as far as we know, to contact all 488 Maidenhead grid squares within the contiguous United States. The award's issued by the ARRL, Amateur Radio Relay League of the United States. It's available to any operator duplicating Fred's accomplishment. Very quickly, VUCC rules apply to this award. VUCC is the VHF UHF Century Club. Won't go over those rules, but that's something a person could look up if they want to really understand what the requirements are. Something unique with this award is it's all or nothing. The award is for confirming contacts with all 488 grids. There's no tier system or partial, rewards for partial accomplishments, which makes it particularly tough, I believe. Only that it really takes some dedication. For those in the future generations watching this video, if you're not familiar with the Maidenhead locator system, it's a geocode system used by amateur radio operators to describe geographic coordinates for this award. In general, so VHF ham radio operators, we use a 4-digit grid square resolution marked by 2 degrees longitude by 1 degree latitude. And we can kind of see that here in the ICOM map, where the DN section is this Washington to Nevada to where I'm at here, Nebraska up to North Dakota. And then the smaller partition will be the numbers in the individual squares, hence the 4-digit, the DN, 48, 47, et cetera. Lots of information out there in the internet about that. Something interesting, and guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I looked up the VUCC requirements for where you need to be to make contacts, for your contacts to count towards the award or VUCC. And I found that you have to be within a 200-kilometer, 124-mile circle. I didn't know that until I dug it up. So if it's a little noisy at home, maybe you can go out to a park or someplace within that range and still log your contacts towards the award. What is the leaderboard? Well, anybody that golfs knows what a leaderboard is. It's a ranking of competitors in a contest. For us, it is that, but it's so much more. Physically, it's a spreadsheet, or it's really an Excel workbook with multiple spreadsheets made up of data provided by many users, many people that are chasing the award and collecting grids. It allows us to not just rank the users that are nice enough to contribute to this thing, but also, more importantly, to determine what grids are rare and needed and which grids are not. And we'll look at that, but you can kind of see that up here in the grid map and the numbers here. Just a little bit, just a tiny bit of history. I guess I just mentioned it before, but this leaderboard that we're going to look at was mostly created by Francis, KV5W. He inherited that from Bill ND0B, I believe his call was, but Francis put in a ton of time adding sheets and working on formulas and just really making it what we see today. And so really do appreciate his work. I'm not that skilled. I maintain it, I answer questions, and I get people onboarded, and et cetera, et cetera. But really just want to make a note of acknowledgement there to Francis. Just a few highlighted notes. You can read it on the board here, but it's hosted on Microsoft OneDrive. It's in an account that we created, well, specifically Francis created it early this year, but we worked to get all the files off of his personal account into a generic account that's just specifically dedicated to the FFMA Leader Board and those files. For those that have been participating since early this year or earlier, you'll remember the transition and all the new links and some of that heartache. The leaderboard itself is a list of, or the beginning of the leaderboard, top of the page is a list of FFMA awardees. We'll see that when we go through the actual leaderboard. And then the rest of it's a hierarchy of current grid chasers. The most needed grids are calculated from data provided by operators who have confirmed 400 or more grids. We'll come back to that, but plant that seed. It's important to know. And then we've got some other tools in here, the leader and meter maps, what am I trying to say? The rover activation tools are just really, really important features that help us, not just for the people that chasing grids, but for those of us activating grids as well. If there aren't any questions, let's dig into the leaderboard. Let me bring up the actual online leaderboard. I think it'll be easier. Let me know if there's any issues seeing this, if the resolution isn't good or anything like that. This is the workbook. We're online in OneDrive. I can see there's one other user, a guest is checked in. By guest, it's someone that's not logged into OneDrive, not participating in that maybe. The leaderboard can be opened by anyone that has the link. You don't have to be a Microsoft OneDrive member or subscriber, whatever they call it. You'll see at the bottom, we've got these tabs for the different individual pages. We're just going to go left to right and walk through them just real quick. And again, chime in if you have any questions. Pardon me for just a sec. First tab on the left, the actual leaderboard. Just a little note to look at the top. This is the date and time in UTC that it was last updated. Keep that in mind. If it doesn't look like if you think you're looking at old data, check there. Maybe you are. Maybe the browser needs to be refreshed, or maybe I haven't done my job and updated. This first table lists everyone who's earned the award and in order of the awarding. And first, of course, was Fred Fish himself, and on to 2025 here, where we've had 2 awardees this year so far: Hal, N7NW, who contacted Barry, K7BWH and DL88 for his final grid, and Rick, W5EME. We'll see who his last grid was: DN97, KB0STL. Fantastic. So we're up to 61 awards have been, instances of the award have been awarded so far. That's pretty cool. It was neat. Like when I first looked at this, it wasn't that long ago. There were 12 or 13. So it's really jumped up. And you can see by the date, I don't know if this is interesting to you or not, but Fred Fish did it in 95. And by 2019, it was 25 years later, 24 years later, they're still only on award number 8. And then 9. And then 2020 we had 10. But then look at all the awardees in 2020 and then 2021. Well, I don't know. What do you guys think happened there? That's the popularization of 6-meter grid chase, maybe Plus, we were at home. A lot of us were at home, the work from home thing, because of the pandemic, et cetera. Introduction of the digital modes. Anyway,
I wanted to comment just one thing.
yeah, please do. Yeah,
Um, I'm sorry, Bill can tell you, but there were four people who decided that Fred needed to be awarded, and they were the ones that started. And I don't know if you have their calls, but it's something that we could add probably. Um, and um, they thought, well, maybe there might be 10 or 20 ever,
ever, right?
ever. So just a little bit of it got started because they wanted to make sure that Fred was
Gotcha.
received some kind of award. Okay.
No, I appreciate that, Rick. That was before my time in all this. And there's a note here attached to the date. That must be what this is about. July 2007, W5 WVO proposed an award to honor the group. So really, we would count from '07 or whenever. Uh, Still, how much fun is this chasing the award, though? If it seems like this is a lot, I did some math. Let's see if I have it here in my notes. Oops, sorry, you just lost. I know you just lost a review of that. 61 awardees, but the internet says we have 558,000 hams in the US, which still means, on my calculator, 0.01% of United States hams have earned FFMA, which is still pretty amazing. And of course, worldwide, it'd be a much smaller percentage. Oh, goodness. Okay, let me get back to where I was at. Anyway, awardees. Starting in the blue is the leaderboard. This is everybody chasing this award that contributes to the leaderboard, contributes their data. And just walk across and then down real quick. That ranking on the left, I don't know if it doesn't matter to the leaderboard data, but it might be fun to watch as you move up and down the ranks, since there's no tiered or no awards for partial accomplishments. Here we can kind of at least take some satisfaction in moving up the list. Calls and names, call areas, etc. The grid that they're operating from. Confirmed grids. This is really what. Oops. Just like this is what's going to get these operators the award, right? So everybody here in light blue has 487 out of 488 grids confirmed. One to go. We have 17 operators with one to go. Isn't that amazing? You'll see most of them need CM93, but there's some others too. EL58, DM23. That's not horrible. Here's a CN75. That's within range of my world. DN68. I've been there a couple times now. So anyway, there's some realistic grids and some really difficult ones as well. But that's just remarkable. And then several with two to go as well. And we can see as we go down to this darker blue, these are all the stations that have 400 or more confirmed grids. And if they have 8 or less to go, it'll list the grids that they need here. But there's other ways to see if we want to see what grids Leo needs. We can look that up on another tab. Scroll down the leaderboard. We get down to around 205. We transition into yellow. And what's going on here? We can see Dennis NE6I has 399 confirmed grids out of 400 worked. This is the threshold. If you recall, I mentioned that participants here with 400 or more confirmed grids, their data is used to calculate the rare grid percentages. And so that's a milestone, a threshold that you want to achieve, really, if you're serious about chasing this award, because at that point, your data, your needs factor into the most needed grid percentage calculation, which in turn persuades rovers where to go next, right? So that's a line you want to try to achieve as you move up this thing. So all these good people, but I appreciate everyone jumping in at every level. It's important to the data we collect, and there's an advantage to the operators as well. And I'll show you that when we get to a couple grids down, and then I'll just point out at the bottom here, you'll see these inactives. And if you look at this date, this is the date of the last time the operator's individual tracking sheet was opened. You just have to open it and the date automatically updates, right? And so if that date goes beyond 1 year, they're automatically dropped down into an inactive list down here. So they're still on the map, they're still in here, but their data is not used in the calculations. For example, we've got Eric here, NC6K. And I reach out to everybody, so hopefully we'll get a response and from everyone here, and we'll get them back in the active realm. But here we have a couple that are over 400 that won't be used to determine those rare grids. So it's kind of a shame, but that's my job. I keep on them. If it goes 2 years, if it goes more than 2 years, they get dropped off. And this is just in the algorithm behind the scenes in the workbook. And that's unfortunate, but some people do drop off. They stop chasing. It's okay. It's just better to know than leave stale data up there. And that's the point of all that. Any questions on the leaderboard tab? This is, I think, pretty straightforward, but all right, I'll go ahead and move on. Make sure I'm still connected. Yep. Hi, everyone. The FFMA map is just what it sounds like. It's a relisting of the awardees 1 through 61 and where they're located on the map. Perhaps you can take a takeaway from this. I don't know, but it seems like the majority of awardees are roughly in the center of the country, kind of the Mississippi Valley, if that's a thing, down that stretch. But there's 2 in CN87 out my grid. So how great is that? And to date, we don't have any awardees from outside continental US. I don't think we have even any Canadians. Let me just double check. No. So who's going to be the first from outside the US? I don't know.
Me?
Yeah. Probably Canada, but maybe Ed Full and Dan down in PR might have a good season or two. Then we've got TAC and friends out in JA. That's maybe they'll have a good F2 season or something. I don't know. It'll be exciting when we.
Yeah, I'm cheering for JA7QVI attack.
He is committed. And that's a mountain to climb. My gosh. But as more folks maybe get into EME, 6-meter EME, have a real shot at something like that. All right, if there's no questions, I'll move on. FFMA, most needed grids, updated August 5th, 2025. This is where everybody goes, everyone hangs out. This inactive participant with the screen open but walked away from the computer. This is probably what's up on their screen right now. And it's, I know it's self-explanatory to a lot of us on here, but let's look. The colors represent and scale the neediness of the grid, the rarity of the grid. Dark green is nobody in that 400 plus club needs those grids, and it works its way up to angry red, which is 40% or more. Operators need that grid. And then there's always one bright violet, I guess that color is, and that'll be the top grid. And that moves around a little bit. Wasn't that long ago, it was down here in DL88. Thanks to Barry, it got knocked around a bit. Now it's over in CM93. Have a little note here. I'll point it out now since it's looking right at me. It's please close the leaderboard when you're finished. And most of the time that doesn't matter, but when I do an update, I upload a updated file that replaces the existing file, and it can only do it if the existing file is not being edited. And so if you close this out, that's that works. But you could also go up here. I don't know if you can see this, but this editing mode. If I drop down and hit viewing and count to 10, boop, now I'm in viewing mode. I can't do any editing. There's very little editing you can do, but we'll look at that. That would allow me to do the update. So if you guys wouldn't mind doing that. And most people are really good about that. Just every once in a while, someone will open it, walk away. And it may not even be a person that belongs to the FFMA group or any of that, because the links are out there. Anyone can open this. So that's just one of the challenges I have. Any questions on the map, guys? Yeah, this is where this viewer is has their cursor on BN85. Must be thinking it's a little, might be where they live. All right, I'll jump to the grid data tab. This is the raw data that makes up all the other data, numbers, and colors. This is where it all comes together. I don't know if you guys need to hang out here very much. This is where I hang out, but there's a lot of interesting info. Very generally scrolling left to right, here's all 285 participants and their data. Look, I have a broken one here. I noticed this earlier. I was going to fix it before we did our thing, but the one fellow's logged in. I couldn't fix it. Here's everybody. Lots of data pulled every week. And we'll look at that in the individual tracking sheet, but where that actually comes from. But you'll see the grids are listed by percent needed. So there is CM93, and that'll change as these move up and down. You can see how the colors are divided. For the 40% range is this red, dark orange is in the 30s, light orange or brown, whatever that is, 20% range, etc. As we go down, yellows in the teens, light green, dark green. Then the least needed grid is a tie between all these, I guess. Let's see what's at the bottom. Yeah, I don't know. It must be alphabetical order at that point. There's no way of FM 54. Couple bits of data. Again, the date and time when I last updated. Again, if you see stale data, check that. See if you're looking at a reasonably current, and reach out to me if you're not sure. We have 285 data sets. That's 285 of you that contribute. Let's see where my camera was. That contribute to this, which I really, really appreciate. Out of the 285, 205 are in the 400 plus club. So that's remarkable. Just for historical reference, I guess, or whatever. When I took this over from Francis in spring of last year, 2024, so about February, March, April, something like that, it was about 185, which seemed like a lot to me. So we picked up a third, grown by a third in a short time. And we have a new participant this week who will show up next week when I do the update. It's VA3 ECO. So there we go. Still picking up some new folks. Here's all the raw data, grids confirmed, worked, not worked, the total, and then the actual individual grids and whether it's not worked, confirmed, etc. So just the raw data. Any questions on the grid data tab, guys?
Yeah, what's the difference between rank and true rank? I'm not sure how to deal with those.
That's the resolution if there's a tie. So let's look right here. DN20, DN25 are both 33.2% needed. So one of them, so they're, oh, here we have the seventh here as well, 34.1, 34.1. We'll do that one. They're both the same. So which one is going to be in seventh place? Well, they both are true rank. That was France's way to resolve that, was to take those, and whichever ones alphabetically comes sooner becomes the higher number. So that's all that is. So if you're headed out to DN 12, you could claim it's number 8, you can claim it's number 7. It's okay. 7.5. Any other questions on the leaderboard? If you dig into this, you'll see little things. The rank of each, the operators listed along the top. Of course, their data, EME capability. You can search out fellow operators that claim to have EME. Here's one, has azimuth ability for EME. And there's a few with azimuth and elevation. Maybe we'll see that grow someday. I don't know. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move on, guys. Rover activation tools. This is where Barry hangs out. And all the rovers. If you're planning a grid to go to a grid, this is super cool data. And this is where being in edit mode is necessary. Here, I'll demonstrate real quick. Oop, I'm in viewing. I don't have a drop down. I lost. Oop, do I have the formula bar? I don't think it'll let me change that. Nope. Read only. So we need edit mode to make use of this. There we go. And here I can pick a grid. Or if I don't want to fish for it, I'll just type it in the formula bar. EN16. Ooh. Yeah, there we go. The grid square itself, where the operator stations are located that need it, that are in the 400 plus club by map, so you can kind of get a visual on what kind of propagation you're going to need, right? So we have some stations within meteor scatter range, but most are on the fringe and beyond, right? And this is not the best grid. Let me find another one that's CN75. Here we go. We look at the table on to the right. This is some really good information for a rover. We have the percentage of stations, of all stations that need it, leaders that need it. But this list is all the stations, 400 plus club or not, just everybody that participates that needs this grid, listed by mileage, by distance from the grid. And we can see this light blue is within 300 miles, meant to be ideally be able to contact through ground wave scatter, that kind of thing, meteor scatter, etc. When we dip into the green, this is intended to show the stations that are within meteor scatter range, up to about 1,400 miles. And pardon me. Let's see, what was I going to say? Yeah, we've got the distance away from you if you're activating this grid, but also the direction, the azimuth for each of the stations. And then we see up there have EME capability as well. So as the rover, I want to print this out, right? And even check it off as I go, that kind of thing. And here's everyone beyond 1,400 miles, 1,400 and something, and all the stations. And you'll see the little asterisks here are the stations that are in the 400 plus club. You can see their ranking if that makes any difference. These ones without a ranking, those are our friends on the inactive list, but they still show up here. So they'll still have a shot at being seen by the activator. And here's the super secret bit to this whole screen. There's a comma separated file of all the people on this list that need this grid. Here's the leaders and here's everyone. And if I just highlight this grid just to the right of all, if I hit Control C or copy, I can drop this in something like JT Alert. Let's see if I can, do I have that open? I do. Let me demonstrate. You go into JT Alert and settings and wanted call signs. Remember, I'm the rover, and I just grabbed, and I'm going to CN75. Oh, wait a second. Here we go. And I want to be notified of any of these people that need this grid. If they're decoded in WSJTX, I want to know it. Let me clear that out. All I have to remember, I copied from that one cell. I just paste it, add it, and save, and I will be contacted. I'll be alerted through an audio file. I don't know if you can hear that or not. It's a little Bugs Bunny file. And it'll also show up on the JT Alert window as well. And I can't say every, probably 90% plus of the outings I've gone on, I've decoded people from this list well before they ever spotted me. Just because I'm out in a quiet location and I'm just decoding the weakest of signals, right? And so I'll see them often before they see me, and it's a big advantage. I'll for a station that took the time to join the leaderboard and contribute their data and keep their stuff up to date. I think it's worth my time to call them if I see them and try to close out that contact. And so it's an advantage, I think, for folks that participate in the leaderboard. I think that's gets back to the real advantage of joining, even if you're way down here, just starting out. Let's see who's way down here. Here we've got J, K1 WVQ, I think that is. He's got 18 grids confirmed, but he took the time to fill out a sheet and contribute and keep it up to date. The 11 July. And if I spot him as a needed grid, I'll be calling him. So good for him. That's the rover activation tools. Any thoughts or questions on that before we move on?
I was going to say, Paul and John, I guess it was when they were up in Maine. When Paul was watching the list, he was watching and have it pop up, and he would tell John, "Okay, there's one of the leaders that's calling." So they had two people, but it's one of the tools that they use to make sure that they gave priority to people who had submitted their data to the list, to the board.
Yeah, just speaking for myself, I prioritize folks that are chasing the FFMA. I love to make contact with everybody. That's no doubt. But I learned that from Barry, who's on the call case of the BWH. We go to all the trouble. These operators go to all the trouble to be on the list, part of the community. We do our best to help folks get that grid logged, get that as best we can.
Is the leaders file there above the all file? Is that the 400 and above?
Let me bring it up. The leaders, say that again.
The file right above all.
Yes.
That's the 400 and above crowd.
That's the 400 and above. All is all, and all is all. For my part, I grab all. But if I don't know what the scenario would be where you just want to be alerted. Oh, you know what it could be though? You could set up. Well, I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, you could set up two. I hadn't thought of this.
Because you got three, at least my JT, you've got three different call signs.
Yeah, wanted call signs 1, 2, and 3. Oh, okay. I don't know. I set up two. I like the audio alerts because I'm often making coffee or doing some sort of camp thing, and in between the butt and chair time, but I don't want to miss anything. And so if I have a Monty Python sound bite, if it decodes my call sign, and I run in and try to complete the call, and then I have the Bugs Bunny if I decode one of the stations needing the grid. And it's been very helpful. I like that a lot. So anyway, wonderful tool. It's wonderful. And again, I didn't invent any of this. I just keep it. I just keep the pulse going. Any other thoughts on rover activation tools?
Oh, here's one. If you're a rover going somewhere, sometimes I will sort this list by the azimuth and figure out which azimuth has the most number of people in it and point that general direction a little more often as a rover.
Oh, that's interesting. Can you highlight the list and copy it and then paste it into the entire spreadsheet part? I think you can highlight it and then paste that whole thing into a Excel spreadsheet.
Okay, I copied that. Let's just do it. Well, let's try it. And file and new. You can't see I'm opening a spreadsheet. There it is. And what are my options? Yes, but I think I don't think I need formatting. And I'll insert a line and I'll go to data and I'll put in a filter. And you were saying azimuth, which is E column. Boop, there it is. There it is.
Yep, but
There's all my stations at 10. Oh, it's a bunch. 101, 102, 103.
It's a why in here because it's alpha. So you get the 100s first before the 99s, but whatever.
Oh, sure. Yeah. But to Barry's point, if I were, my antenna is not exactly a laser beam, so I could grab probably, let's say up to 103. That's a chunk. Probably even more than that'll be in the beam width, right? Yeah, you're right. And then we'll come down. Yeah, there's the 90s at the bottom. Interesting. Another option I'll make available to you guys if you're going out is I can just send you the spreadsheet, this whole thing offline, unprotected. Well, can I do that? Let me think on that. I think I can come up with a way to safely do that. And then you can just add it right here. Well, we just did it though. That worked out just fine. Oh. And that was with I'm still online, so it's the online. The only difference between some of you is I am logged into Microsoft, and so I don't think I'll have any special privileges there. But if you see something different, that might be the difference.
And just so you know, that you can copy and paste it not just into Excel, but it pastes into Word quite nicely. And I'll put it in my Word document, adjust the line spacing for a little more room, and I'll cross people off as I work them.
Wonderful. Yeah, Barry's the best I know at record keeping in the field. I go out with good intentions, have printouts and stuff, and by day 3 or whatever, it's like, oh my God, just trying to keep my eyes open. But yeah, wonderful tools. If there's nothing else, I'll move over here to leader maps. This is almost an opposite tool. These are maps of needed and accomplished confirmed grids of all you guys, right? So I'm in edit mode and I select one of you. Here, let's pick on my friend Ed Full. And we can see the red are the grids he still is looking for. That's not bad. That's not bad. Hopefully we can help him with some of these out in this zone. It's too bad he didn't get that one. Anyway, the secret. Oh, is that you, Barry? Hi, Barry. The secret sauce in this page, if you go to your own, and this is true in the this is true in the individual tracking sheet as well, which I'll show you. You'll see the list of grids. Here's the list of grids that TAC needs up here. And just like the rover activation tools, if I select that first cell with the formula and hit Control C, now I have now I can paste all the grids that say I need into something like a grid tracker or some other sort of notification system. So if a grid I need pops up, is decoded, I'll get some sort of notification. I was going to bring up, let's bring up Notepad. No, paste that in. Right, so here's all the grids that JA7 QVI needs that I just pulled from right here. So if you use a notification feature of some sort, I don't think JT Alert works that way for grids. They just look at the file. I think it looks at the file of grids you've already have and assumes if you don't have it, you need it. The grid tracker probably does. Don't know. I'll have to look into that sometime. Or if you're just curious, as a rover, I use this as well as the other tools determining where to go. We look at the most needed grids, and I know I'm want to be within a certain distance of home. which isn't bad. It gives me some good ones here and here, and this guy and this guy, and good old DN08's back up there. 25's not, it's still maybe within a day's drive, a long day's drive. But which one do I go? Well, maybe I want to focus on getting a signal down to Puerto Rico and help Edful and Dan, for example. That's a priority. So I'll bring him up and see what he needs, and that'll help me determine where to go. So that's just another tool in the toolbox. Any thoughts on this one before we roll on, guys? Yeah, I'm going to go back to my slideshow. Leader maps we looked at. The last two tabs, inactives and the change log. This is all housekeeping for my benefit, really, but you're welcome to look at that and see who is no longer chasing that was, or what I did that week. You know, here's an example. The last update as of the slideshow, we had added Rick, W5EME. It's kind of, for me, that's the most exciting part of this whole thing, is when we get to add an awardee. It just doesn't happen a lot. But here you can see all the new participants that were added in week after week after week. Really exciting stuff there. How to join? How do I join? Number one, contact myself, Ed, N7PHY. You can look me up. Everything is correct on QRZ. Or if you're in any of the other communication channels, you'll find me. What I need to get you started is a list of the grids that you have confirmed and not confirmed. And this is best exported from LOTW, Logbook of the World, right from ground zero, right? And Francis put this nice single picture instructional bit on how to, once you get into your VUCC account, what to click to generate this text file. And if you send me this text file, I can very easily create your online tracking sheet. And then from there, you maintain the tracking sheet. I merge your data once a week with everybody else's. And that's what updates the leaderboard. Pretty straightforward without actually walking through it. I hope. The important thing is to contact me, because I can help get over bumps, or if you have trouble with this, I can use an export from a logging program, that kind of thing. It's more work for me, but whatever you can get to me, we'll make it work. Personal tracking sheet. Once you've given me that list from LOTW, I create a tracking sheet. It's just a weird sample, but John, and 7 gigahertz, said I could use, it's gonna let me use his. So this is an offline copy, so I won't actually be making any changes to your sheet, John. Let me, oh, geez. There, that's what I'm trying to do. Stand by. There it is. I hope everyone can see the sheet here. This is a really good example. This is the sheet I create. Everyone has their own. It's a separate link. It's not the link to the leaderboard. It's a link to their personal tracking sheet. Hopefully everyone's got a different link, and try not to share those with anyone else. I don't go into these sheets. Once they're created, I don't go in and edit. This is your tracking sheet. I'll go in if there's a problem, or if somebody asks me to look at something. If we look, we've got the call sign, name, grid square, et cetera, et cetera. There's a just so you know, I do have your email in here, but that gets pulled out when I do the updates. It's one of the first things that gets extracted and deleted. So we don't publish emails. That's just for me to get hold of people if I need to. Inactive, you wind up on the inactive list, or for whatever reason. And then from there, it's just a list of the grids in alphabetical order. And status is what you're updating. If I click on CM79, there's a little drop-down arrow. There's 3 choices. CFM for confirmed, WKD for worked. I worked the grid but haven't confirmed it. and NW has not worked. And it's got to be one of those three for this thing to work. And that's all you have to do. The stuff here in column B is the only necessary data. The rest of these columns are super interesting if you want to use them, but they're not required. I like most everybody uses the station worked, who they worked when they confirmed it. Kind of gives credit to the rover or the station at home that confirmed that grid for you. We have a LOTW yes or no. This will add an asterisk to your map. You look down the bottom, we've got some tabs. If you look at John's map, can I make this bigger? I'm sure I can. There we go. Let's see. Here we've got asterisks in CN72. Oh, it's perfect. Boop. So we've got a CN72 is confirmed by K7. Hey, K7AGE, but is not confirmed at LOTW. At least at the time this was entered. So it's just a little reminder to John that if he's looking at the map, oh, an asterisk here, I need to pursue that confirmation. That's all that's going on there. Let's see, CM79 we called it worked, so I haven't received confirmation yet. The map will indicate that in yellow as well. So it's just a tool for the operator. As Barry once wisely said, that record keeping is at least half the battle in this pursuit. It's not automatic. All these columns might be interesting: date and time and band and mode, frequency, but I don't do anything with those. I only grab column B. And if you remember, oops, yeah, lovely. Remember what I'm doing here. Way back in this grid data tab in the leaderboard, look at these grids here of everybody. That is column B from each individual tracking sheet. That makes sense. So we'll go back here. The map tab, there's an instructions tab, which get the scroll quite right. Francis put this together, but it's just a highlight of what to do in here. But we just talked about the drop downs. It calls these optional, which they are, all the stuff's optional, and what the effect it has on the map. The takeaway here is to keep whatever you put in column B is what I use and what everybody sees in the grid data tab in the leaderboard. So if you don't want your last name shown, just change that, just delete it, etc. If you move across country and start a new grid, reach out to me. You'll have to start over. You can keep the old spreadsheet up if you're planning to operate from that grid again, but you'll have to start over to meet the VUCC rules. And there's nothing to sheet 2 here. Any questions on the individual tracking sheets?
The map, is there a suggested or whatever way to print that? Mine is too big for the screen, and I don't know whether I can make it smaller or whatever, but just a way to print your own personal needed grids map.
Good question. I haven't printed one. It's still just Excel. So I mean,
yeah, Ed.
Yes.
Yeah, there is a way. Just go file, print, and it'll print. It's like 6 sheets that it'll print.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to file, print. So that's a good question. I think I can. Oh, there it is. So there it is, going edge to edge. It doesn't quite fill in top to bottom, but I don't think I want it to. Yeah, that's probably it. That's probably all there is to it. Well, I'm gonna hit print. If I disappear, well, nope. I hear the printer. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this is John. Actually, one of the things that I found out when I was trying to do this, I took my file, saved it off, took it down to my local library because they only charge a dime, where I'm at here in Tucson. And what I found that works best is you take the map you're showing here on your screen now, and you do a what am I trying to say? You put it into, well, how am I trying to say this? You go in and you do a clip and paste, a snip of the area that you want to do, because it's almost impossible to get the silly thing to fit on a page and that. So what you got to do is you got to snip it out.
Okay.
And then you take it and you import it into Word.
Gotcha.
And you
Okay.
put it into Word, and of course you want to flip it over to landscape mode, obviously, and you can get it to fit very nicely. As I mentioned to you earlier when we were talking, I actually printed this out on 11 by 17 paper.
Right.
It turns out it still only costs a dime. So yes, you can print it out, and you can print it out very nicely. And then when you do this, like you see these red ones here on mine, since I think this one's still mine. Yeah, that one's still mine. So when I get new ones, hold on. When I get new ones on the red ones, and that as I fill them in, I just take a Sharpie and I put an X through them. And so then about 3 months, I'll reprint it again.
Gotcha. The well, you just reminded me. I use a little graphic photo editing tool called FFMA. So for all these slides, let me go back to the slideshow. These are all just screen captures, and I cut and trim them, and that's almost entirely rely on these things. In other words, just like what you're describing, essentially a snippet. That's a great way to do it. There's as far as sizing goes, let's go back to the live view. John, I'm going to open up your live. Pardon me a sec. This is going to take me just a minute. I'm going to open up your live individual tracking sheets. And 7 A, B, C, D, E, F gigahertz. Open. Dragging across. We're going to try something. This is stuff I wouldn't normally have to get into, I don't think. John, this is your live view. And I'll go to map and we'll scroll it up. On this monitor, it's actually pretty well sized, but often it isn't. And I'll go up to view, and where it says 100%, I can just jump right to 100% view. Or if I need it smaller, I can do that here in this zoom window. And that helps me quite a bit. It kind of depends a lot on which screen it is and also which monitor I'm using here at home. So maybe that's helpful or not, I don't know. And you know what? I'm glad I did this. Something I failed to mention, but is very important. This date, remember the folks on the inactive list? They're inactive because this date is greater than 1 year old. But you don't have to update this date. As soon as this sheet is opened, boop, the date goes to, well, as you can see right here, equals now, which is really nice. I can see if, especially when we did the transition to a new OneDrive account, a lot of people did not get my email notification with their links and all that. And I can just sort by last open. And if it was before that date, I know that they probably don't have a working link or lost it or just didn't see the email or whatever. So to just be fresh on the list, literally all you have to do is open the sheet. Or if you can't get to it, I'd be happy to do it for someone as well. But I'd really like people to open it. That way they know, everyone, you have a good link. And,
the second thing I was going to mention too was you were mentioning about the email up there where you said you normally
right here.
take it out.
Right there.
And that's not a problem for me. And I think most people, if you have an ARR.net, I don't think most people actually bind. That's why they have it. Not only that, it's on the QRZ page. So,
Yeah. It's I haven't had any issue with that. Francis, when he turned this over to me, said there were he had interaction with some folks that do not like having their email anywhere, and I get that. But for me, I need to be able to get hold of everyone on this list somehow,
Sure.
some way. If it's not here, just let me know. I'll keep it somewhere else. But that hasn't been an issue. And yeah, pretty straightforward, isn't it? I mean, yeah. We go back to sure, I'm in it hours and hours every week. So to me, it's become very second nature. But that's the personal tracking sheet. Please keep them up to date. If you haven't worked any grids in a long time, just open it once in a while. It helps me a lot. Just it's kind of a pain tracking people down.
Quick question.
Yeah, Barry.
Yeah, just because I haven't been in these before. So you'd explained how to create this sheet in the first place, and then from week to week to make updates, click on the grid data. Do people manually enter those missing items, or do they re-import from LOTW?
No, the design here is to come in. John just worked CM93. He knows it. At some point, come in here and just update this. It's some work because when I import, there isn't a hidden macro or anything that just fills this in. I literally copy and paste this column for when I build the sheet, and then I go through and change all these stuff up. I don't do that. I don't use the drop down. You can copy paste and do a lot of updating very quickly. So it's not a hardship or anything. But and I'm sure experienced Excel users will have all kinds of nifty shortcuts and things I don't know about. But yeah, that's the procedure is to come in here and keep this updated. Ideally weekly, but as long as making an effort to get these updated. Oh, it's a nice sheet, John. You got all your activators, rovers, and other stations that you confirmed with, and you're utilizing the LOTW, yes or no. Perfect. That's perfect. And you're 11 away from the magic 400 plus club. Excellent. Any other thoughts on personal tracking sheets and keeping those updated?
Well, I got to say, Ed, I learned a lot here this evening. Lots of things that I've never used when I've been out roving. You guys are really really adept at keeping things at technologically at a really high level when you're out roving. I'm kind
Well,
of
that's nice of you to say, Mike.
I look at it from my own standpoint. When I'm out, I'm just kind of seeing stations, and I do kind of note some of the high level neaters, but at the same time, I kind of want to ask the question, how you judge, how much time you spend with particular stations. Some people, I guess, have noise or whatever,
Yeah.
a half an hour or 40 minutes trying to work
Oh, I
somebody.
know.
And it's kind of like, and there's a whole bunch of, the band's open, and
Yeah.
it's a really difficult situation.
It is challenging. It is. Pause, put a pin in that. I have some thoughts on that. But I only have one more slide. This is it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. I'm glad. Thanks, Mike. Just very quick notes and resources. Of course, there's a million resources for operating and doing better in the 6-meter grid chase from either end, out in the field or at home. But for my parts, I encourage everyone to join the FFMA group in Groups.io. The leaderboard is intensely tied to this and vice versa. If I change anything, do an update, that's where I'm sending the notification here. And let me pop it up real quick. Just a couple key things here, just a couple. If you lose the link to the leaderboard and you're in this group, go to the home page. And right here, there's a bunch of neat stuff here, but right here in the bold leaderboard, and that link will always work. Well, I just jinxed it. It will most of the time always work. And there's leaderboard.
Yeah, it works unless it doesn't.
Unless it doesn't. Once in a while, OneDrive itself goes down. In fact, more than once in a while, if you look at their statistics, it's like watching the stock market. It's up, it's down, different features come and go, they do updates, etc. But that's beyond our control. And it usually bounces back pretty quickly. The second thing
Well,
that's
I
go
want to
ahead.
comment about that.
Yeah,
Just to say
go ahead.
that, yeah, this is a good place to go. Sometime if you try to save a bookmark, you go to the page and you save a
Yes.
bookmark in Chrome. No. So this is a good place. Always remember you can go from here.
Can always go from here. And of course, you're welcome to reach out to me, but I might be slow getting back to you. In fact, it gets a little overwhelming in the busy months because I'm out there too trying to play radio, right? So it's difficult. So remember, you can always get to the leaderboard here. And the second big thing here was, of course, the calendar. I know you guys know this, but for anybody that watches this and has not yet gotten fully invested here, join the group. I really, really encourage it. And watch the calendars. Look at all the scheduled rover activities. Look, there's me in DN16. Plus, it's a contest weekend. And WV8 is at LYJ and his monster rove, summer rove out there. You want to know when people are out, right? And so it's a great way to keep in touch. Or if you're going out, please add your expedition in the calendar. It's super easy. Up here somewhere today. Add event, there it is. And we just fill in the data and hit either add event or invite the group. I do get some, get a few, when I invite the group, I do get some feedback that it's a bit of an annoyance, but you're notified of it. So anyway, so there's that.
Ed, quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ed, going back to the individual's map and grid data and all that, could you explain the purpose of the two small worked and not worked tabs down at the bottom of the sheet?
Yes, good question. Let me pop open a live. You're talking about the drop-down selection here, Mike?
Actually, I've got a couple of tabs on the bottom of my spreadsheet.
You do. You might have something historical from before my time, Mike. Let's see. Do you mind if I open your sheet in front of everybody? Oh, you're muted, Mike. I'm sorry.
Be my guest. Go right ahead.
Okay, so you're KK4MA. Give me just a sec. We're going to do this thing. Nope, we don't need that. I need, all right, move stuff around. KK4MA. Look at all you guys here. KK, let's see, let me see yourself. A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, KK4MA. Here you are. I open up your sheets. You have some different tabs. You have a worked, which has nothing populated, and not worked. All I can say, Mike, is these tabs are not necessary for the leaderboard.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry, I don't know the history of this one. How's your grid data look? Oh, this looks clean though. This looks really good. Oh, this looks really good. No, as far as at least from my what I need, you're golden. This is just perfect. And you got your map. Looks legit. And
yep, good enough, Ed. That's
okay.
That answers my question. And I did not think that it really influenced, based on what you said earlier.
Yeah,
you really are focused on column B, but
column B, that's what I need, and it's got to be. I don't want to mess you up, but it's got to be in this format. You can't, if you type something else in there, it's going to mess up my program a little bit. But no, it's golden. I'm going to close out there and go back to what we're looking at there. Actually, let's go back to my slide. No, great question. Yeah, I'm curious, but I don't know. And we were,
Hey, Ed,
yes.
before you leave the calendar, there's a neat feature down the lower right called subscribe.
Oh,
You
okay.
can bring that link into your local Outlook and have a personal copy on your desktop.
Subscribe to calendar.
And you create a new calendar within your Outlook, and then
Okay.
you have a personal
Oh,
copy.
and
You
it
can't
and
do
it
anything in it. It's just a mirror of what's on the leaderboard. So
is it a
if
true, is it a
that's
live mirror though?
it is
If
live.
Oh, nice. Okay. Oh, I'm actually not using Outlook here only because it reminded me of work, like employment work. But I
But if you
should.
do, then you can drag or copy the
Okay.
rover dates into your own, and then set reminders to remind you who's going to be. And there was so many people going out in June that was really a huge benefit.
Isn't that lovely? When you look at, wow, it's just nice to see it filled up. And there were people out that didn't populate in here, maybe don't do this, but oh, it's so great to see. Even for me, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Close that. When I go out, it maybe sounds a little selfish. I try to work all the other rovers that are out there. I don't know if Barry, you might do this as well, but I just find some satisfaction in that. I don't know. Yeah, let's close this out. Let's see. We talked about the group, front range 6 meter group, also group IO. They're also a really wonderful group, and they, as most of you know, or maybe all of you know, they have a lot of great presentations on technical aspects and operating and sunspots and all these great things. That's another good one. The VHF chat group within Slack, that is live blow by blow chatter, which is sometimes maddening. But if you're serious about chasing grids and you're not on that, you're going to have a really be at a real disadvantage. And that requires an invite, but reach out to someone if you don't have an invite to get into the VHF chat group here and join the little sub channels that are part of that. And you will learn a lot, especially when rovers are out. That's where a lot of communication is happening.
Just make sure you have a big monitor.
Oh, well, yeah, when I'm at home, it's just burning in the background. I read what I want to read. It's all fine. When I'm out there and it's busy, I can't keep up. But it'll the key in here, let's see if I can find it. I'm not gonna be able to find it fast enough, but there's a notification. Let's see some settings. I'm not gonna be able to find it. Under notifications, I can say alert me if it sees certain keywords, right? So it sees my call sign, sees the grid I'm in, or maybe the grid I'm looking for, that kind of thing, right? And as soon as that pops up, like you can see my call signs highlighted in yellow, that's a keyword. And then I just go to activity and I can see all the mentions of my call sign or the grid or whatever. And that's how I navigate this thing when it's more than I can digest following, because this stuff just scrolls by in real time, right? So it's, but I don't know, without it, it's tough. Especially when you're out there, you just point and figure it out and hope hope everyone's looking for you where you're at when you're at. And then I'll also mention Francis, who did all the brilliant work in this leaderboard workbook. He did essentially the same presentation, but a much deeper dive. And you can find that in the Front Range 6 meter YouTube channel. I don't have a link here, but if you search that up, it'll pop right up. Just a couple of resources related to what we're talking about, and we did it. Any questions, comments, or anything at all?
I have, and comment is one of the other resources is Ping Jockey. And there are pages for other than MSK if you want to use them. Also, N5TM has Ping Jockey client, and there's a whole lot less noise.
Okay.
It's very concise. So you don't get pictures, you don't get graphs, you don't get whatever, all the things that you can get on Slack.
Right.
But
Right. Okay.
that's another one to look at if you want.
And there was thanks for that. There's actually, I was going to get with you, Rick, on the side, which I will still do. I'll save it for that. I want to drag everyone else into it. I had a thought about the resources page on the Groups IO, but I also need to make sure I have time to execute. Mike brought up something and I kind of cut it off, but it was essentially how much time do you spend with a station? So it's so difficult because at least from my perspective, here I am out in this beautiful ridge in DN16 that we see in the picture. And I just decoded someone that needs this grid, right? And I'm calling them or they're calling me and it's going back and forth and we're just not completing. Do I just give it 2 or 3 and move on, or do I hunker down? And there's no easy answer. There's no easy answer, especially if it's, say it's like an MSK or a Q65 attempt. It could go 20, 30 minutes where you're just trying to build up and complete that contact. And the longer you go, the more you want to stick with it and all that. So I guess I don't really have an easy answer for that. Whereas if it's like a busy, like over the 4th of July, we had that was the weekend of the CQ contest, I think, and we had a really good band opening on the 4th, and then the days a little bit before and after were pretty good. And when it's hyper busy, and if I'm answering someone and they're just not getting it, or they get covered up, I'll give it like 3 or 4 and then move on, because likely I have 3 or 4 or 5 or more people calling me, and it's not fair to them to leave them calling as well. So it's tough. It's a good problem to have when the band's open, but tough. So
yeah, I think that one, if you are on Slack and you say, look, I have a 5-minute limit and then I'm moving on, or 10, whatever, and some kind of and one of my other thoughts was a guide station or somebody else on Slack that can say things, periodically that you don't have to do that.
That's nice. I know Barry and I have done that before the days of Starlink. I'll be out somewhere with just the weakest of cell signals, and it's just too much to even try to get Slack to come through in real time. But I could get an email or something or SMS to Barry, and he was gracious enough to be like my ground control station. It was very helpful. Ed's pointing southeast right now. He's looking for this or that. It's that kind of stuff. But
right. So if 15 people ask you what mode are you running,
the
guide can say that. And
it's I know. I guess we continue to fine tune our operation, and for myself, I've quit unless it's really quiet or the band's slow. Then we can just chit chat away on Slack. But the less I say, the better. If there's a lot of questions, I'll just say I won't answer anyone directly. I'll just put on the channel 3 frequency DF, the DF frequency and antenna is pointing this way or whatever. Just the data, and so it's fresh in their window as well. And the folks that are paying attention and looking for me will find it, and those that aren't, that's okay too. I don't know.
Hey Ed, this is John.
Hey John. Hello again, John.
So, based kind of on the same thing, if I'm following along with what you guys are saying, I had a thought. We have a map.
Yes.
And that I think it'd be slick if we could figure out how to take the map, blank it out, and as people are activated, use something either like a Club Log Live feed or PSK reporter, but not every 5 minutes because that's just ridiculously slow. Something active. You were talking about, well, what mode are you in? Okay, well, they could use the color code like we use in WSJTX, for example. If you're on FT8, maybe it's purple. If it's MSK 144, it's yellow, and something like that. And so then, as the grids are active, okay, it's picking you up as the transmitting head. So it says, hey, DM42 is active on FT4. And so people could go to the FT4 frequency, or, you're out there in DN16 running EME and that. So it comes up and, you have your EME color and that would help point people, frankly, in the right direction.
Ooh, that'd be an amazing tool.
Guys, that actually exists already. It's called hamspots.net. And I can go type in N7PHY, and everybody that's doing PSK Reporter or DX Summit, you can see, within 10 or 15 seconds, who's decoding, what frequency they're decoding you on. It's all there.
I've heard of it, but I've never been. Oh, maybe I have. Oh, wait, I think I signed up on here at one time. Okay. I made a note. That's going to go in our resources. I'll do some research and add that. Thanks for that. Hey, what an amazing tool that would be, especially if you can only get on for so many hours on a Saturday. You're busy. Rovers are out there in general, but bye, Barry. Thanks for joining, man. Yeah, no, I
think
HamSpots
is populated by JT Alert.
Oh, okay. Yeah, JT Alert's
and it's it actually shows everything instead of being some of the stuff. PSK Reporter is overloaded quite often, but so you don't necessarily get everything.
Oh, but it's a neat idea.
But HamSpots is a good one to look at.
Yeah, JT Alert, we didn't mention it. It's not really meant to be a chat. Well, it is now, but I mean, didn't mean to get into all the operating stuff necessarily, but the JT Alert, I didn't know at first it has a communication segment or app or something built in, right? I had no idea, but it's activated.
It has a messaging.
Messaging, yeah. There I am chatting, bloop, a window pops up for someone, hey, thanks for the contact, or where are you pointer? It's like, wait, what? What is this? Who are you? Oh my gosh, it's
Grid Tracker has it as well, and I've been using both. Fantastic.
Yeah, now that I know it, I can the JT Alert one gets me, because if I get a note from someone, but then I complete a contact with someone else after that someone else is now the one that's highlighted. I have to be conscious to answer.
It's very easy to send a message to the wrong guy.
Wrong person. Yeah, I'm sorry, it was for someone else. But
it's
otherwise,
more fun if you have 3 copies of it, and one time the message from somebody comes up on this machine, another one, same guy on another one, and
right. All right. Great tools out there.
Being the lone East Coast guy, and there's only one other FNW1 call area guy, K1TOL, who's made it to the FFMA award. It's going to take a lot for me to get there. I'm at 452, and it looks like every night the Northeast closes up. It's been a terrible summer, but if I could talk about funding, I know there's a funding of the plaques, or was. I'd like to hear that we encourage or incentivize grid D expeditions to go to the rarest grids, so that the operators that go there get the gasoline paid for, overnight.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
Antennas. And in one case, someone was going to one of the rarest grids coming up here, I think September 1st. And he was just going to go with a 100-watt rig, and a future D expedition to that same grid next year, I guess, would he'd have an amplifier.
Yep.
But if we can incentivize or have funding available to help him get that amplifier by September 1st, so that he could go to 500 watts instead of 100. Anyway, just in some other cases, I helped somebody with a rare grid in Texas. We took up a collection for an antenna.
Bill, I was thinking about that, and I'm wondering if maybe a GoFundMe might be appropriate.
Yeah, I mean, it's something like that, but I think it would have to be from the organization, the Leader Board organization. It's similar to the sponsorship of like Northern California DX Foundation, some of these groups that back or fund the big DXpeditions.
Yeah, I like everything you're saying. My mind is hitting a speed bump of the actual management of this thing. For example, the groups IO.
It sounds like you're going to end up making a web page, Ed.
Well, the web page is fine. Like the groups IO group is really an email reflector with a couple of volunteers keeping it going. Same with the leaderboard. Whereas, say, my local club is organized and has a charter, and it has it has a budget, and it has the infrastructure to sort of sponsor something like that, right? And so, sorry, I'm trying to
Ed,
not
let me say
poo-poo the
something
idea.
here.
Yeah, please do. Right?
And you can think while I talk. How's that?
I'll try.
If you guys remember what happened with was it Delta Mike 02, where one of the people took it upon himself to organize and get the money for an amplifier or whatever for the station there to operate. I think that's a better model than trying to get FFMA group and the leaderboard and all of that. We're already busy, but if there's somebody that can take a specific grid or a specific rover and organize communication about them,
right.
That I think that works well.
Yeah, I think if we took the top 10 rarest grids from the list and said, okay, if we have anybody that's interested in going there, send the money direct, PayPal to their email address for their costs. And if there's enough advance notice and they need an amplifier, don't have one, I mean, these grids that I need multi-hops from the East Coast here.
Yeah.
I can only appreciate the ones that are there multiple days. A one-day grid DXpedition does nothing. It's a hit and a mostly miss.
Right.
For me.
Very difficult. Yeah.
So it would be nice to encourage them to stay a few more days. That gasoline cost for the generator or hotel.
It's a super interesting topic, Bill, and I try very hard to avoid it because it's very self-serving. For transparency, I don't operate 6 meters at home. I'm not chasing grids. I'm not in any way in the hunt for FFMA. I'd love to be, but it just isn't a place I can operate from. But so my part of it is I just operate 6 meters in the field. And where was I going with that? And I'm torn myself about, do I ask for donation? It's kind of expensive, but then again, none of you are obligated to fund my hobby, right? So it's a weird thing. So I just for myself, I ride the fence. I don't ask for donations, but many of you are kind of very generous, and I gratefully accept a little help with the gas, and it's super helpful. Like even $5 is roughly a gallon to a gallon and a half of gas, something like that. That'll run my generator for hours, right? And so it's it's very helpful and an important topic because it's
that's why
not that easy. Yeah.
My suggestion being somebody who's not the person going out there and not the people specifically running the leaderboard, but somebody who says, okay, I'm going to coordinate some communication with the guy that's going out to CM93.
Right.
Okay, and have that person be active on the reflector or wherever and say, look, here's what's happening, here's what's the plan. Yeah. And kind of help the person that's activating with the communication with everybody. So they don't have to figure out how to activate something and all the things that it takes and communicate with everybody and
deal with
all of that.
Yeah.
So somebody to help a given rover.
It's an opportunity there. Someone wants to be the point of contact for rover operations. Yeah.
We need some cheerleaders and just list the top 10 grids rarest and encourage, incentivize operators to go there.
Yeah, for sure. I part of that happens organically. As you know, Belarus, there'd be nobody out there, but certainly CM93 is as rare as it is right now because it's such a complicated grid to activate and will be expensive for anybody going there. And without that coordination, the rovers are going to think, wow, this is on me if I'm going to go there. Am I renting a boat? Am I going to walk on that ferry to the island and carry what I need, that kind of thing. So, it takes a little coordination for the difficult ones, certainly. And some of that does happen in the background. Barry, K7BWH, and I we live fairly close to each other. We're in the same club. He's the one that got me started in this, and we share data and we share bits of equipment. He borrows my Starlink if he's out and I'm not. I mean, just little things like that are super helpful. Or the big collaboration was going down to DL88 this summer together, and that's no small trip from Washington State, but it worked out. He was able to make a lot of contacts. My part was just to make sure we got his big old van in and out of there safely, and he had everything he needed. I was head of security, whatever, and it worked out. So, yeah, no, I'm with you. Yeah, imagine if you had a national point of contact that could try to collect and pool resources and direct them to those ridiculously hard grids.
Yeah, and my thought is a person who coordinates a grid, whoever's going to go there, is just somebody that, like I say, communicate so that the person doing the rover stuff can focus on getting there, and somebody to make sure everybody knows about it, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. What a great discussion. Sorry, I'm talking like I'm in charge here. I'm just sort of your net control station this evening. I really.
Has anybody got any more questions? We're at what, an hour and a half now?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I really thought that would go in 30 minutes or so, but once I get rolling, I like to talk. There's my very last outing of the year, DN16 over the 4th of July. And if you look closely, it's a 5-element LFA, but if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, the reflector fell apart on the way out there, and I lost a third of the reflector somewhere. And so I just ran it as 4 elements, and it worked quite well. I was pleasantly surprised. That's the trivia for this evening.
Hey, Ed.
Yeah.
So not unrelated to the rare grid thing.
Yes.
And I actually posted this on the FFMA groups IO, I guess it was. Okay. Didn't really see any answers. But one of the things we have to remember is, as part of the rules, they don't necessarily have to be in the United States. And there are some grids that are rare, like F57 up there, which shares with Canada, and DL88, which obviously is we share with Mexico.
Yes.
And I mentioned, we should, try to encourage the folks that actually live in DL88 there in Mexico. That would make it a heck of a lot less rare. Same thing with like FN57. Like you said, of course, there's 3 grids that, because they're completely waterlogged, that of course being 93 and
93,
EL84, because the only place there is dry Tortugas. And then, of course, you got EL58, which is basically nothing more than a swamp in the middle of the ocean. I'm surprised there's any dry ground to stand on at all. But yeah, there's plenty of folks, for example, who live in Florida around the Keys. Well, plenty of those folks have boats. And I would imagine that more than a few of them are amateur radio folks. And I'm kind of surprised that EL84, for example, does not get activated more often. Again, EL58, it's always going to be because of where it is and how it is. And correct me if I'm wrong, CM93, the only thing there is the Santa Cruz Island, the Channel Islands, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And I'm still, because I know it says technically speaking, you can't operate from the water. What I don't understand, and to discuss this back and forth, if you're in a boat and all you do is go up to the dock, are you technically on the water, or are you technically considered?
I get where you're going. For VUCC/FFMA, you can be totally afloat, and the contact counts. The real challenge there is to be in waters that you're allowed to be in because of the military presence, and then also the National Marine Park area out there. Would they let you haul up to the dock? That's all great questions. My understanding is the 2 options there are to walk on the tourist ferry out there and go camping, and you get to your camp spot on foot. It's all reserved, and whatever you have in your back. So it's kind of a Peter outfit where it's all mini micro stuff held together with magnets and whatever he's doing. Or get out there in a boat, which, if you don't own the boat, can be kind of an expensive charter situation. But there might be other options. I don't know.
The dock on Santa Rosa Island is not in CM93.
It's not. Okay.
You have to walk about a kilometer, I think, to actually get to CM93 on the land. And there's no dock. There's no dock on the CM93 part of the island.
Okay, interesting. Never been.
And the comment was that for VUCC, you don't have to be on land. You can have VUCC grids out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
in the middle of the ocean.
Be in the water. And that,
I
don't know. I don't know how I would tackle 93. I think that's going to be outside of my, I'm just thinking about myself here. I don't think I could pull that off financially.
A little anecdote about DL88. XE2OR lives in DL98, and he said he ain't going there.
I've heard that.
He said it is not safe, even from the Mexico side, for a Mexican citizen.
Yeah, Barry. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rick. I have a bad habit of interrupting people. I really apologize. Only because I was just recently there, and we did a serious deep dive into this trip before we left. That was our understanding as well. In fact, the amount of DL88 in the United States is a very small amount of land. It was very small. Your options of where to set up in the US are, to be effective, literally is a tally to campsite in Big Bend with all its restrictions. And we were told don't even leave your tents unattended and stuff there. People might come across, and there's tent raids and things. And we didn't see much anything out there, but we did have an old clanky pickup truck come by and check us out. That was a little suspicious, but otherwise it was quiet. But anyway, it's a lot of hearsay and all that, but that one in particular was tough, Rick. It was tough. I wouldn't go back without some sort of AC. It was too much for my body. But
you were talking about the trip and all of that kind of stuff, and I was just going to say, well, in probably another 2 years, you'll be recovered.
It took something out of me, and it was part of my well, I only made it to Arizona. I was scolded. I don't know, you guys. I know medical stories are terrible unless they're your own, but yeah.
I talked with Tim Groman, who was one of the people that went there with Marshall.
And Marshall,
he said, we are never going back.
Yeah,
and this was when it was physically safe. It was just hot and dry and hot and hot and hot.
Yeah, I wasn't. Barry was set up a little better for it because he knew when he was designing his electrical system in his van, he was designing it for DL88. So he had the solar and all that. I had a different way of charging my battery, so it's still okay. Relied on the engine of my truck. No generators allowed, right? So that's the big challenge. But the temperature was just. I operated from maybe like 4 something a.m. I was up pretty early. We're still dark, and I'm on 2 meters and going meter scatter. And by 10:30 a.m. at the latest, maybe 11 a.m. I'm done. It's like 120 or more inside the tent, and it's just unbearable. And that was my radio operating was dark 30 to late morning, and Barry, to his credit, stuck it out. He was up there with all his doors open in his little camping AC unit that did like nothing. Oh my gosh. Anyway, really going sidetrack. If anyone needs to drop, feel free. It's really thank you everyone for showing up here. Now that we've digressed into fun 6-meter stuff. Anybody need any grids up here? Where's my laser? You can't see it. DN08, I've got some favorite campsites there. I go there quite often, but haven't been this year.
Yeah, I need it.
DN16 was, finally, I've been going to DN16 like a dozen times over the last few years. And finally, over the 4th of July, finally had that one opening where it really knocked it down and was able to get hold of Edful down in PR. So my next exploration home away from home is going to be DN15. I've got one site I've been to and a couple I'd like to check out. So I'm gonna hang out there quite a bit. DN05, I don't care for the terrain as much. I used to work down there, so I kind of get triggered. I have it reminds me too much of going to work, so I kind of stay out of there, but that's all within range. Otherwise, looking forward to getting back to Montana next year, so I'll be up in that zone. I think, unless someone wants to rent a boat, charter a boat, maybe I'll be in for the coast here. 75 is another tough one, CN75. There's very little land in that, and it's mostly private property. Whereas out here in the western states, there's a lot of public land, national forest, BLM, etc. But not so much 75, and I think that's why it's a difficult one to activate. And then CN78 is tough because it's behind the Cascade, the Olympic Mountains are right there. There's very few spots where you can get over into the east. But that's workable. Yeah, interesting stuff. I wish the season were longer. I wish
I need all the grids in northern Nevada and southeastern Oregon and
yeah.
01 DN0001 03 11.
Yeah,
nobody lives there.
Yeah, I kind of let you down this year. I broke down in 46 down here. So I went from DL88 to DM74 and had a wonderful stay for a week there in New Mexico. Stopped by DM46. I was going to do 46 like 2 or 3 days, 47 2 or 3 days, and then get into Nevada and work my way up this DN01 line, just kind of working my way home. But that's where everything kind of broke down. That's as far as I got. But Hey, that's how it goes, huh?
Thank you, Ed. I'm
Oh,
checking out. Boss lady's got the alarm set for 5 o'clock in the morning, so it'll wake me up.
right on.
So see y'all later, and thank you very much, Ed.
Have a good night, Rick. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. I'm going to drop off also here.
All right. Yeah, guys, I'll go ahead and close it unless anyone else has anything else.
Well, thanks a lot, Ed. A lot of good information out there.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Thanks for sticking it out. Yeah, we've been here a couple hours now. That's fantastic.
And thanks, Ed.
I'm out of here too, Ed. So thank you very much. Really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, sure thing, Mike and Chris. I see you in there.
Yeah. Thanks for the presentation and thanks for 7 grids.
Yeah, you've been one of my favorites because we worked so hard for some of those.
You've hung in with me for longer than I deserve. Thank you
brother.
very much, Ed.
we finally pulled off the N16. I was so happy. So happy. I hadn't forgotten. Wonderful.
73, Ed.
Have a good night. Oh, I see John, VE7DAY. Hi, John. Sorry I didn't see you in there earlier.
Hey, Ed, thank you very much for all your rovering and all the grids you gave and
sure thing, Dave.
Given out to us. I'm going to drop off. Thank you.
You are welcome. We'll hope to do many, many more. All right, guys. Let me stop recording.